For PBS Radio Festival 2020, we asked PBS announcers to take us inside their record rooms and share 5 releases that are special to them. Introducing Richie 1250.
Hello everybody, this is my record room, which is also my bedroom, and I'm going to show you some records from it that are favourite records. This one is Paul Horn, Inside, where he's playing flute inside the Taj Mahal, just, solo flute with all the reverberations. Sometimes he's accompanied by the Taj Mahal guard, will do some singing that sounds really great. And I used to have this on a cassette tape when I was a kid, maybe when I was 11 years old or so. I used to listen to it in the bath a lot and just trip right out. And sometime a couple of years ago, so I got thinking of it again. I was like, I should buy the record of that. So I ordered the record of it, got a copy from Germany, and they sent it over. And then I was looking inside it when I got it, and I noticed that the day it was recorded, it was going to be 50 years since it was recorded in 1 week's time. So in a week, on the 50-year anniversary of the recording of Paul Horn inside the Taj Mahal, I invited a bunch of friends over, and I laid all blankets on the floor and pillows and everything. We ate some brownies and we all lay down and we were all just real quiet and we just listened to the whole thing. And it was super nice. I thought I was going to have to be shushing everybody, but everyone was just blissing out. It's real sweet. Alright, here is another record. This is Australia and All That Jazz by John Sangster. I've only got this one pretty recently, in the last probably 5 years or so. But I just love it so much. It's all like, it was made for an exhibition in a museum. There's music to go along with photos of Australian wildlife. So John Sangster composed this Australian nature jazz, and then they overlay it with all Australian nature sounds on the record, and it's just it's super just like spaced out and loungy, and really they're playing wild shit, and it's amazing, and it's got these great illustrations inside, these real 70s look illustrations of the players. Here's another record that I really love by Genevieve White. It's called Romance is on... I'll take it out of there. Still shiny. It's called Romance is on the Rise. And I heard this one not long after I started on PBS, maybe in my first couple of years on PBS. My friend Teo's, who I'd known since I was in high school, his parents run this art shop, Melbourne Art Supplies in the city. And they listened to my radio show. And Teo's mother would always be saying, Richie, he'd love that Genevieve White record, because that's one she'd always had since the 70s, and she played around. He'd been hearing it his whole life. And he was like, that old thing, whatever. And one day, finally, I was in the shop, and she was like, Richie, I can play you this Genevieve White record. And she played it to me over the shop speakers, and man, it's just like, I was like, jeez, this is right up my alley. And, eventually got a copy of it, and every time it was released in Australia, so you find it sometimes, Australian pressings of it. And it's one of those records that any time I ever see it, I buy it. Just because, I'll just be happy to have another copy to give to somebody as a gift or something, and, spread the gospel of this great record. What else have I got next? Oh yeah, this next one is Outcast, Aquemini, Outcast's third album. And this was the first Outcast album. Outcast is one of my favorite groups, so it's like very sentimental to me. It's my first Outkast album I got. I remember reading about this album in the Source magazine, and it got the coveted 5 mics in the Source. And so I was like, well, I want to check that out. But it's called Aquemini, but I just kind of quickly read it as Aquemi. So I'd be going into all these record stores going, have you got this Aquemi album? I need to hear Aquemi. And people would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And eventually, one day after pronouncing it wrong many times, I just found it by the cover at Alley Tunes in Hawthorne or wherever that was, somewhere around there. And it blew my goddamn mind, and I've loved Outkast ever since. I'd very happily show you any of their records. What else? Oh yeah, 5. I'm going to do one more. I said I should pull out 45 for one. This is Laurie Collins. I don't know if you can see shit in the dark like this, but anyway, this is Laurie Collins, Another Man Done Gone. And this is around the time, like, in the period just before I started Slow Grind Fever, when I was really getting into all that kind of music. This was one of the records that I most wanted, and I couldn't find a copy for sale anywhere, and it was just like tearing me up inside. And then Gil Matthews, the old rock and roll drummer and label owner and everything, he was selling a whole bunch of his 45s through Gravel Records, and they had them out like just all over the back steps going out to the office. There was just like hundreds of thousands of 45s just piled up on every stair, and they were letting one person in at a time, people who were really into 45s, to look through them and try and find stuff they wanted, and then you'd pull your sack, and then Gil would tell you how much they were a week later or something. And anyway, after like 14 hours of digging through all this stuff and finding some cool stuff, this was probably the thing I was most wishing I might find, and after like 14 hours I found 2 copies of it, like a red regular issue and a white promo, right next to each other, and I was just like, oh my god. Oh, it made it all so worthwhile. And I bought them both. It's not going to have eventually, pass the red one on to somebody else. But thank you, Gil and Gravel Records. And thank you, PBS, for having me on the radio. Asking me to make videos.